Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hindel Bowl here in Indianapolis, Indiana for the 2021 Indiana Senior Masters, the inaugural Senior Masters Championship. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee here in the broadcast booth. And, Mike, we're in our round of 4, and we're down to 8 players. It's going by quick.
Yeah, it is fast. I mean, like I said, if you don't sit back and take a breather for a second, it's going to miss it.
We're used to being in a bowling alley all day for one of these.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we're going to be in and out of here in about 3 hours or so, 3.5 hours. So right now in front of us on 7 and 8 is a loser's bracket match between Clark and Didion. A winner's bracket match here between Mike Mann and Trent Marner on 11 and 12. Looks like Dexter Harrod and Jeff Graham are down on 15 and 16, and then we have another winner's bracket here between David Clemens and Jeff Bowman on 3 and 4. I think you're starting to see, Mike, where there are some differences as you go from pair to pair. Mike Mann and Trent Marner were down here between lanes 3 and 8 the first couple of rounds, and we're shooting some big numbers. They go down on 15 and 16, and Mike leaves a 3-7-9, and now Trent Marner comes in and just whiffs the head pin left.
Yeah, we'll see if they make that quick move here and see what happens to get them back lined up.
So could we see some differences here from pair to pair as Trent makes the spare? We're going to focus on the 2 winners bracket matches here. That's Trent Marner on the right side of your screen. Now Jeff Bowman here on lane 3. Shot number 2, working on a strike. Week 7. Jeff's been around a long time, good left-hander. Started out bowling in the Frankfort area, I believe, and now resides in Indianapolis. And I give him a hard time. He's a big Cardinals fan. I'm a Cubs fan, you know. We don't see eye to eye. I like Jeff, though. Anyway. Yeah, the Braves make the World Series last night.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Taking out the Dodgers.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, too. I got a good friend of mine. He's a big Braves fan. He's living high on life right now. Jeff looking to make the spare and does. Now Mike Mann on the right side of your screen here. Oh, somehow kicked the 7 out.
Yeah, good adjustment.
You ever get the itch to bowl anymore, or you pretty much lost all that?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I have the itch to do it. I thought maybe, get in shape a little bit, maybe just have some fun and bowl leagues around, but they kind of snuck up on me here starting, so I wasn't quite ready for this year. Maybe next year, who knows? I don't know if I'd bowl any tournaments or anything like that, but you got to get over some ailments first.
Well,
pain.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I just have to live with the pain. Maybe that's it.
Well, but you'd probably be, I don't know if you have a record of it or not, but you'd probably be stunned at the amount of games you bowled probably from the late 70s through the early 90s, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
well, actually through 2000. I didn't retire until 2008 or 2004 I retired.
I mean, you got a lot of games.
Yeah, a lot of games, yeah.
I've always wondered how, when I see, especially in your era, that the tournaments were a lot longer. Now it's a horse race.
Yeah.
Right? It's a sprint rather than when you bowled, it was a marathon.
Well, yeah, it was 42 games on the regular events, and the major events were 56 games. So, and that's not counting pro-ams and practice. So that's just the actual competition games. So.
I always wondered how your guys, your wrists hold up so well.
Yeah, I was fortunate with stuff like that. I mean, you get an occasional ripped thumb that you had to deal with, but now then as guys started to put more and more on the ball. I mean, you had guys that some rotator cuff problems and a few things like that. I think all in all, everybody's pretty fortunate with injury-wise.
Hey, we're going to bring in a little guest here in our broadcast booth. Brian Nunning joins us here from the state board, and I know he's looking at his watch right away. He's probably got somewhere to be, Mike. But, Brian, just wanted to kind of get your thoughts and perspectives here on the very first Indiana Senior Masters. It seems like it's been a great success for the very first one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're really excited. When Jeff and I talked about this, and Jeff started putting numbers together, and the board approved this, back in August. Just we were talking last night, the move from August to execution here moved really quickly on this. Jeff did an excellent job putting this together and us getting this out. And guys, credits to you guys. This came a lot out of the announcements and the stuff we had at the Masters, right, and all the discussion that went on there. The board looked at that and said, hey, we want to try this. It's probably time now. We've talked about it for years. We've thought about it for years, but it just seemed that it was a good time, and the numbers showed it, right? So we thought we would maybe have around 70 or 80. We ended up with 110. So great turnout.
It's kind of like you think about the Queens. It was kind of in that category where, you wanted to try something and you weren't sure, and then all of a sudden we had such a great response for the ladies, and we have that for the older guys too here.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll have, we've got the Queens coming up. That's going to be changing and moving to February this year because of the Open being in Anderson. So we'll be able to hold that in March. So we're looking forward to that. The Scratch Classic coming up in a few weeks here in November at Mike's place, at Mike Arrowhead Bowl. So looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll see some growth there too.
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting. It's nice to see some of the players have an opportunity for an Eagle, his state title, and obviously the best have come out. But I think there's still a lot of guys out there maybe haven't heard about it yet, or maybe the weekend didn't work for them. But I see nothing but growth moving forward. And thank you for all what you guys do for the state of Indiana. From what I can tell, and from what I've heard, there's nothing like this in any other state. All the tournaments and the Savage TV bowling, and there's just nobody else in the country that does this but Indiana, and that's because of you and your staff and everybody. It's wonderful.
Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate that. Yeah, we've got a tremendous team here in Indiana. The board and the staff that we have that run the events is just tremendous. So thank you.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Thank you.
Yeah, and we got a big slate. Mike and I were talking early on in this broadcast. I was just kind of going through the events that we're going to be doing, and we got a busy bowling season in front of us, and we're extremely excited to be a partner with you guys, and we look forward to not necessarily the cold weather, but we do look forward to the good bowling.
Sure enough. You guys do a wonderful job at this. We get a lot of positive feedback from you guys live streaming this, and the two of you broadcasting this, each of the events. So we look forward to it every year. I know last year we had you guys do our Hall of Fame event. That really turned out well as well. So appreciate our commitment together and what we've done together as a group.
All right. Thanks for your time, Brian.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right. Brian Nunning here, the kind of the head man that I always go to when it comes to these events. He's the one that puts all the numbers together, and Brian does a phenomenal job and has a strong passion for this sport too as well.
Well, you'd have to for all the time and effort they put into it, and not be rewarded for it other than a successful event, which is great.
Here we are about halfway through this round, and let's kind of get us back up to speed here. Good match here on 3 and 4. Jeff Bowman with a 3-bagger, 3 through 5, looking to make it 4. Oh, solid 7 pin. The old announcer jinx. Joe Didion Sr. and Danny Clark right in front of us here in a good match.
That's a big shot for Danny. That's a big shot to get him back in. He's just a little bit behind because of an earlier open, but he's on a strike on this one.
Can cut it to 14 here with the strike on lane 7. He likes it. Oh, that was a beautiful shot.
Beautiful shot.
Now we're getting into the point where it's going to get a little more serious, aren't we? We're getting in the later stages of the event.
Yeah, you're bowling people who are lined up and have an idea what the lanes are doing. There's not many layups here now.
Mike Mann working on a strike in the 6th. This is his shot in the 7th. Ooh, almost left the 7-10. 10 falls late. Joe Didion Sr. with the strike.
Knocked out that late solid 9.
I'm watching too. There's a lot of guys that play the lanes pretty tight angles, right? Up the lane. And usually that can lead to a lot of weak corners or whatever, but they seem to be getting a lot of good pin carry.
Yeah, the angle's still there for sure. And that's a good example of on premise here in lane 7 and 8. Is that a 3-4?
Yeah, 3-4 right after Jeff Bowman missed the 7 pin.
That's something you do not see very often, the 3-4.
And David Clemens comes right back with one right through the face, and Joe Didion Sr. with
Throwing a lot of pins around there, yeah.
both players now with a double. Now Trent Marner here, working on a strike. Oh, and he sends the head pin flying across.
Yeah, speaking of throwing pins around, wow.
Leaves the 7. Now Danny Clark here right in front of us.
9th frame, big shot.
He needs this strike right now. Can cut it back to 14. Oh, that ball just kind of laid there.
Looks like he switched balls too.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. It looks like something that is reading a little earlier, Mike.
Yeah. The other one just kind of labored a bit or broke loose a little too soon. It's getting him down and finishing pretty well for him on that one. That was a big shot.
Well, he's got his ball rep here behind him. Cameron Clark, his son. Talented player in his own right. So, you know, it always helps to have another set of eyes just to kind of give you, just kind of, sometimes we don't see everything the way we like to as a player.
Wow, nice shot.
He gets the first one in the 10th. We'll go right back here to the Clark-Didion elimination match here on 7 and 8. Jeff Bowman now back up on lane 4 in the 7th, working on an open frame.
That's in.
Comes in high. He does have a 22-pin lead in that match.
Starting to see a little more body action out there, you know, a little more excitement on shots. So a lot of good matches going on, close ones. There we are, 10th frame for Danny Clark.
Well, you got the first one in the 10th. Joe Didion can shoot 239. 225 max score for Danny Clark. So this one right here would force Joe to get the first one in the 10th. Oh, and it's just 10 back. His last 3 shots, Mike, have been solid.
Yeah.
Now Jeff Bowman looking to make the spare. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Your opponent gives you an open frame and you just miss 2 single pins.
The opponent has a strike working too, so they can close it up real fast here.
Mike Mann looking to double up here in a close match, just an 11-pin game.
Big shot.
He cuts it to 1. You can take the lead with another strike. Oh, through the face. All right, got 8, 223. Joe's got to get the first one here.
And this is an elimination match, correct?
Mm-hmm. So if he goes 9 spare, that's 178. Yeah, he's got to have the first one. He'd be in the 2 teens. First one here, and he advances. Anything less, Danny Clark will move on. Oh, and he tripped the 6. Oh, my goodness. And that's where that tight angle will do that for you,
Yeah, he was
right?
a little bit inside, but the ball set up there, and boy, great angle to trip that 6. The strike he needed. That should be about it. Just count. Keep it on the lane. Nice shot.
He'll be in the 230s. A couple of clutch shots there in the 10th frame for Joe Didion Sr. Now Trent Marner looking to get the first one here in the 10th. And trips the 10 late. He's going to need this one still to got a chance of a tie between the Mike Mann, Trent Marner match. Mike Mann could shoot 238. Trent Marner could shoot 249. 9 spare here would allow Mike Mann to tie. Anything less than 9 spare, Mike Mann could come up and win the match. Left side of your screen. Second ball, 10th frame. That's a
Pretty
winner.
shot. Pretty shot.
Well, Mike Mann will fall to the losers bracket, and boy, you gotta start looking at favorites, and that might be the guy
Yeah.
you might be looking at.
Well, I would have thought Mike Mann would have run the table. I mean, he obviously Trent's a great player and made some great shots there, so they may meet again.
And now David Clemens looking at a possible open, and he does. He misses.
Yeah, he
the
got back in.
three-pin.
Yeah, he got back in it within 3 pins, and then now he opens up.
And it's amazing how you just kind of look at subtle things, the difference. Like Tim Mack was talking about Tom Hess, his win in the senior Masters out in Las Vegas, and Mack had a chance to knock him out with a strike in the 10th frame and leaves a solid 10. And Tom would have been going home, but Tom wins that match and ends up winning the tournament. And then he's just been winning everything ever since on the senior side of things. And it's just amazing how, it is so difficult.
Yeah, you make a lot of your own breaks, but you've got to be in it each and every shot, especially in these heads-up matches, because there's some buzzsaws out there, or a break turns around one way or the other.
We don't know the Dexter Harrod Jeff Graham match. It's way down on 15 and 16. We're going to stay right here with Jeff Bowman and David Clemens in the winner's bracket here. David Clemens with an open in the ninth. He's got 161. Jeff Bowman has missed 2 consecutive single pin spares, but not 3.
That was a solid 10 too, on a strike. Wow, great shot.
Well, yeah, next year I could participate in this if I choose to do so. I'll be, unfortunately.
Well, you have the option. You can either stay at 49 years old if you like.
Can I? Can I? Wait a minute. Let's go. Let me pick an age here. I'd be probably in the 30s if I could stay anywhere. It's be somewhere in that range.
Yeah, we don't go back that far.
I know. Not that I'm saying my 30s were a great decade, Mike, but from a bowling standpoint, I could definitely tell a difference between
just getting out of bed would be worth it too, right? You don't have all the aches and pains.
And even Timmy made a comment a little bit about the PBA and how these long formats, it's going to be harder and harder for the one-handed bowler to compete against these two-handers, because over the course of a long period of games, they just have some advantages from a rev rate, from a speed standpoint, lofting.
Well, there's just so much lane manipulation that wasn't there before, where the technology and the knowledge, all that, they can manipulate it much more. So it's just hard to see what changes that. It's not to say there is not something that's coming or works differently. Who knows?
Well, Jeff Bowman somehow is going to survive and advance. And that's what this is, right? It's just survive and advance.
You do what you do in front of you. That's it. Yeah, that's all you can control.
All right, we'll be down to 6 players after this round is done. And I believe play has been concluded. You're watching the 2021 Indiana Senior Masters here on Savage Bowling TV. We'll be back for round number 6 or 5 right after this.